Well, hello, my darlings. I'm Jane B. Lee, here to talk about writing, novels, different things that authors go through, things that may be of interest to you. Also, a little bit of my prose and poetry slash poetry. And I was wondering if you like the poetry or not. Should I keep the poetry in um, these little bitty things, or should I leave them out? So if you leave a comment one way or the other, that will help me know what to do. So primarily talk about the book, The Red Bitch's Revenge. Very thick, it's the size of two novels, so you're actually getting two novels for the price of one. Um, Year in the writing, 6 months in editing. So it went through 17 different editors at one time or another. So I want to talk about that a little. So I've talked about that a little bit, and so take a look at that. And since we've talked about the poetry, I'm going to read you a short poem. When I graduated from college, I started doing a lot of traveling. And as some of you know, I've traveled to over 62 different countries now. Enjoyed most of them. And some of them were pretty scary too, but that's travel. And sitting on airplanes, traveling around the world, sometimes being on planes for 12, 18, 20 hours even sometimes, I would write poetry because you can only watch the same movie so often. Anyway, this one is one of the early poems I wrote when I was first traveling a lot. It's called Travelers. The traveler's life is a time of woe, always coming from and always time to go. Where we sleep we do not know. Tonight a chamber, whose maid I know. Tonight a loft, far from the snow. Tonight a field where lilies grow. Tomorrow a grave where we all must go. So that's Travelers. And that was my first impression, or early impression, of traveling all the time is part of what I did there. It was, like I say, it was fun and it was interesting. Now, the two other things. One is Angel the Assassin's coming along. I've taken a couple of days sabbatical from writing chapter 35, and I was not happy with what was going on in my head with chapter 35. And so what I did was lay 3,000 pounds of granite on my entryway. And that helped me think about chapter 35 and how I really wanted to write that, because the way it was coming out, I wasn't liking it. So it's in my head. And so tonight it gets into the paper. The other thing I wanted to talk about is identity. This was one of my first books, and what I thought I would do is I would put the first chapter up on my website again, so that you can read the first chapter of the book. It's really quite interesting because it's about the awakening. It's about the awakening of oneself, finding oneself and that awakening, and all the pain that the rest of the world puts you through when you do that. So that's what that book's about. And that'll be in that chapter 1. I like to write the first chapter, so that kind of tells you the direction of the book so you don't have to guess too much. So the Love and Revenge series. Oops. It kind of flares, doesn't it? Okay. Love and Revenge. The Red Bitch's Revenge is the first one. Angel the Assassin is going to be number 2. And number 3, I kind of know what I'm going to be doing with that one so far. It just hasn't got a title. It has to tell me what the title's going to be, and I don't know what it's going to be. Okay. Jane's Adventures in Storyland. www.janesadventuresinstoryland.com. That's my website. You can go to that website. All my books are 20% off and free shipping and signed by the author. More than happy to sign it and dedicate it to you. Happy to do that. So that is kind of what I had to say today. And I hope you all are safe and keeping your distance and being. I kind of think of coronavirus. Isn't that a beer? Anyway, y'all have a great time. Love you all. And so thank you so much for listening. Bye now.